The Girl Who Spoke to Fire, Persia, Iran. In the sun-baked silence of the Persian desert, where the villages huddled close to the sand like scattered pebbles, lived a girl whose fate was spun from both earth and air. She was named Zarmina, and her birth was marked by a great anomaly, a brutal sandstorm, so fierce it blocked out the midday sun. Yet strangely, it left no harm, only a profound, sudden calm. From that day on, Zarmina carried the scent of dry heat and mineral dust, and a secret gift. She could speak the silent, crackling language of the flame, the steady, rhythmic song of the kitchen hearth, and the deep, ancient roar of a towering blaze. She understood their needs, their hunger, and their strange, fleeting beauty. Zarmina's village was a haven built around a single, vital well, but one brutal winter, the harmony shattered. A prolonged, unnatural darkness, a chill and shadow that seemed to swallow the days, descended upon them. The stores of fuel dwindled, and fear, a cold fire all its own, began to consume the villagers. They burned the last of the dried camel dung, the last scraps of salvaged wood, until only the embers remained, fading fast into ash. The night promised to be one of endless night, where cold would claim them all. The entire village huddled together, eyes fixed on the pit where the last remnants of heat flickered. When the last ember sputtered into blackness, a collective sigh of defeat rose into the freezing air. Zarmina, then barely taller than a shepherd's staff, pushed through the weary crowd. She knelt by the fire pit. All that remained was a single, stubborn piece of coal, small as a sparrow's egg, its surface still holding a faint, fragile cherry glow. It was the final dying breath of light. She leaned close, sheltering the ember with cupped hands, and whispered to it not as a thing, but as a wounded, sleeping soul. "Oh, oldest heat," Zarmina pleaded, her voice a thread of sound softer than the settling ash. "We are adrift in the dark. We are cold. Please live again. Wake up and save us!" The tiny glowing coal did not stir, but its heat pulsed faintly against her palm. A voice, deep and resonant as the earth's core, echoed only in her mind. The ancient voice of the flame itself. "I am tired, little speaker. I gave myself freely, and I was taken without thought. Why should I return?" Zarmina understood the fire's exhaustion. She knew how quickly humans used up their gift, leaving lanterns burning in empty rooms, tossing kindling on a blaze that needed only a coal. "We have been wasteful," she admitted, her breath clouding over the coal. "And we have forgotten your value. But if you return, I will make a vow. I will teach every person who warms themselves by your grace to never again waste the light." The coal paused, gathering its strength. "You ask me to give my life so they may live, Zarmina. If I agree, the bargain is bound. Every time humans use me, they must remember the promise to never waste what little they have. They must respect the gift." "I promise," Zarmina whispered, eyes shining with fierce conviction. At that moment, the coal flared, not with the hungry, desperate flash of kindling, but with a magnificent, calm resurgence. It grew into a steady, clean flame, banishing the suffocating darkness and throwing a golden shield of warmth over the kneeling villagers. Hope returned with the heat. True to her word, Zarmina dedicated her life to the vow. She taught her people that fire was a sacred trust. When the harsh winter finally retreated, the tradition had begun. Whenever light was needed for celebration, comfort, or prayer, a ritual was established. To honor the night the fire agreed to live again, people would light candles during festivals, a deliberate, small flame lit with intention, not waste. They do this to remember Zarmina's promise and the fire's sacrifice, and so it remains. To this day in Iran, during festivals of light and renewal, candles are carefully lit. Each tiny, steady flame is a quiet vow, a beautiful, glowing reminder that the light should never be behind a lock, nor should it ever be wasted.